All right, so let's get to day 8 of this trial. So, Trump's lawyers tried to discredit testimony of prosecution's first witness in hush money trial. Emphasis on try, which they don't emphasize. I'm doing that because I'm gonna say they didn't succeed. Donald Trump's defense team attacked the credibility Friday of the prosecution's first witness in his hush money case, seeking to discredit testimony detailing a scheme between Trump and a tabloid to bury negative stories to protect the Republicans' 2016 presidential campaign. Returning to the witness stand for a fourth day, former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker was grilled about his memory and past statements as the defense tried to poke holes in potentially crucial testimony for prosecutors in the first criminal trial of a former American president. And could be former and future, which, God, I hope not. Pecker's testimony has provided jurors with a stunning inside look at the supermarket tabloid's catch-and-kill practice of purchasing the rights to stories so they never see the light of day. It's a critical building block for prosecutors' theory that Trump sought to illegally influence the 2016 race by suppressing negative stories about his personal life. Under cross-examination, Trump's lawyers appeared to be laying the groundwork to make the argument that any dealings Trump had with Pecker were intended to protect Trump, his reputation, and his family, not his campaign. That's why they have a recording of Trump saying that after the election, it doesn't matter what Stormy does because it won't matter anymore. Because it's all about his family and not the campaign. The defense also sought to show that Trump's arrangement with the tabloid was not unique to him, and that the National Enquirer was publishing negative stories about Trump's 2016 rival, Hillary Clinton, long before an August 2015 meeting that is central to the case. Well, Pecker did mention somewhere that he did this for Schwarzenegger too, so they might have something there. During that meeting, Pecker said he told Trump and then Trump attorney Michael Cohen he would be the eyes and ears of the campaign and would notify Cohen if he heard negative stories about Trump so they could be killed. Under the questioning by Trump lawyer Emil Bova, Pecker acknowledged that there was no mention at that meeting of the term catch and kill, nor was there a discussion at the meeting of any financial dimension, such as the National Enquirer paying people on Trump's behalf for the rights to their stories. Bova also confronted Pecker with statements he made to federal prosecutors in 2018 that the defense lawyer said were inconsistent with the former publisher's testimony. Pecker told jurors that Trump thanked him during a White House visit in 2017 for his help burying two stories, but according to notes Bova read in court, Pecker told federal authorities that Trump did not express any gratitude to him during the meeting, which is actually on brand for him. So, was that another mistake, Bova asked Pecker? Pecker stuck to the account that he gave in court, adding, "I know what the truth is." Prosecutors clawed back at the defense's contention that Trump's arrangement with the National Enquirer wasn't unusual. Under questioning from a prosecutor, Pecker acknowledged he had not previously sought out stories and worked the company's sources on behalf of a presidential candidate or allowed political fixers close access to internal decision-making. It's the only one, Pecker said. Wait a minute. I saw an article where he said he knows this is illegal because he did this for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Granted, that's not a presidential candidate, but it was political. So I'm confused now. The second witness called to the stand was Rona Graff, Trump's longtime executive assistant. Graff, who started working for Trump in 1987 and left the Trump Organization in April 2021, has been described as his gatekeeper and right hand. Graff testified that the Trump Organization's Outlook computer system included contact information for Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, two women who were paid to prevent them from coming forward with claims of sexual encounters with Trump. Trump says the claims were lies. Graff also testified that she once saw Daniels in a reception area at Trump Tower, though the date of the visit wasn't immediately clear. Graff said she assumed Daniels was there to discuss potentially being a contestant on one of Trump's Apprentice brand shows. Trump spoke briefly to Graff as she left the witness stand. He appeared to reach out to her with his hand as an officer guided her away from the witness stand past the defense table. Trump's lawyers were at the bench talking with Judge Juan Merchan when Trump stood up and engaged with Graff. 'Cause you're totally supposed to do that. Yeah. You have a reputation of being a mafia boss who tries to strong-arm people and intimidate them. Yeah, talking to a witness who just was on the stand is a great look. Friday's testimony caps a consequential week in the criminal case the former president faces as he vies to reclaim the White House in November. At the same time jurors listened to testimony in Manhattan, the Supreme Court on Thursday signaled it was likely to reject Trump's sweeping claims that he is immune from prosecution in his 2020 election interference case in Washington. From what I saw, there were quite a few justices that were at least initially willing to go along with it. So now the question is just how long is it going to take them to give a response, and will it just effectively kill the case till after the election? Let's see, where was I? But the conservative majority high court seemed inclined to limit when former presidents could be prosecuted. Of course, a ruling that could benefit Trump by delaying that trial potentially until after the November election, like I said. The Supreme Court, and I think I've mentioned this before, the Supreme Court has to be really, really careful, because if they do give him any type of immunity, that also will, that could potentially also go for Biden. And obviously, since the Republican fever dream is to indict Biden, is to impeach Biden, because, they're just a bunch of petulant children who, well, you hurt our guy, so we're going to try to hurt yours. Because, like I said, they're being children. So, yeah, they have to be careful about the immunity thing. So their best bet is basically to, delay this and then say he can't be prosecuted, because that will allow the Republicans to still go after Biden. In New York, the first of Trump's 4 criminal cases to go to trial, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in connection with hush money payments meant to stifle negative stories from surfacing in the final days of the 2016 campaign. Trump denies any wrongdoing before... Trump denies any wrongdoing. Before entering the courtroom Friday, he told reporters he believes Thursday's proceedings went very well for the defense, adding that the case should be over. Yeah, well, considering he said that the case shouldn't have been brought up to begin with, and that there are legal scholars who agree with him, which all the legal scholars he mentioned are actually tools. But, so that doesn't surprise me one bit. But, at least he isn't saying the case shouldn't have been brought up. It just, okay, should be over now. Which, that isn't how witnesses work. That isn't how trials work. And a lot of people seem to have a problem with that. Just a slight tangent. I had people on my Jonathan Majors trial videos who seemed to think on day 3 that the trial was over and asking me my opinion. Who do I think is correct? Who do I believe? They were acting like the trial was over. It's like, it's day 3, guys. The trial isn't over. I do not know where you are getting this idea that the trial is over. Same thing here. The trial's not over. There's still plenty of witnesses. But actually today went well because the defense was able to poke holes in David Pecker's testimony. So whether it's enough to sway the jury, don't know. But you heard me say that there were inconsistencies in Pecker's testimony, which never ends well. The charges center on $130,000 in payments that Trump's company made to Cohen. He paid that sum on Trump's behalf to keep porn actor Stormy Daniels from going public with her claims of a sexual encounter with Trump a decade earlier. Trump has denied the encounter ever happened. And, what was I going to say now? Yes, and I still find it amusing and completely on brand that the only reason we learned about Stormy is because David Pecker didn't do the catch and kill. Because he couldn't afford it, because he was never reimbursed. So, there you go. Over several days on the witness stand, Pecker described how the tabloid parlayed rumor-mongering into splashy stories that smeared Trump's opponents and, just as crucially, leveraged his connections to suppress seamy stories about Trump. My favorite being that Ted Cruz's father had something to do with the JFK murder. The JFK assassination. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Like, where are you getting this? And what's scarier is that there would be people who believe it. And because the National Enquirer was never credible, it was always these fantastical stories. I don't know why I saw this article that claimed it once upon a time was a credible news source. I don't think it ever was. Trump's attorney zeroed in on a non-prosecution agreement in 2018 between the federal government and American Media Inc., the parent company of the National Enquirer. The company admitted to engaging in the catch-and-kill practice to help Trump's campaign, and prosecutors agreed not to prosecute the company for paying $150,000 to Playboy model Karen McDougal for the rights to her story about her alleged affair with Trump. He denies the affair. I still think she got shafted. She only got $20,000 more than Stormy for a year-long affair when Stormy just was a one-time thing. So, yeah, I still think she got shafted on that. And I assume that their problem with that deal is that, oh, well, of course they're going to say whatever prosecution wants because they're not going to get into trouble. Well, prosecution doesn't just, lawyers don't just throw out these types of deals just for funsies. They already have something. They already know that something is up. They aren't fishing for anything at this point. Otherwise, they wouldn't make the deal. Or if they decided that the deal was incredible, it would be odd. I mean, these aren't morons. Trump's attorney repeatedly suggested that Pecker may have felt pressure to accept an agreement in order to finalize a deal to sell his company to the newsstand operator Hudson News Group for a proposed $100 million. Again, even if he was like, yeah, you know what, I better come clean, that's him coming clean. Not that he's making shit up, because again, they wouldn't give this deal to American Media Incorporated, without some evidence to back it up. It's not like they say they just came up to him one day. It's like, hey, if you do this for us without any basis for it. That's generally not how things work. I mean, I get the optics of it, but still. Even a little bit of thinking would show you that, no, that's not how it works. To consummate that deal, you knew you had to clear up the investigations, Bova said. After pausing for several seconds, Pecker replied in the affirmative, but Pecker also said he felt no pressure to finalize the non-prosecution agreement to complete the transaction. In the end, the deal didn't go through. Okay, wait a minute. Didn't he just contradict himself in 2 sentences? First, he said yes, that, to consummate the deal, you knew you had to clear up the investigation, but yet he felt no pressure to finalize it, to complete the transaction. I'm sorry, did I miss something? Or did he just totally contradict himself in those 2 sentences? Because that did make any sense to me. And the fact that the deal didn't go through, yeah, so I'm not sure that that's the win that defense think it is. I don't know. I'm not sure how to process that. But anyway, that is the end of this article, and since we already had the executive assistant on, I'm going to say this. Obviously, Pecker's testimony is over. Now, they didn't say whether she's going to be recalled on Monday. Nobody said anything about who the witness is going to be Monday. So, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And, with that, I believe I've covered everything in this article, so I will see you guys in the next video.